Alright, so welcome back. So in the previous tutorial, we saw a simple overview of how to use ReactFlow in Streamlit. Let's see how to build something useful with ReactFlow. So in case you want to know what ReactFlow is, so ReactFlow is a very nice platform, a very nice React component that allows you to be able to build some interface like this, which is very cool, which is very useful, in which you can interact and build so many things with it, right? So how do you do something like this in Streamlit? So the advantage and the benefit of Streamlit is that it is having React, right? So it's also built on React. So there's a component called Streamlitflow component that allows you to be able to include or create Streamlitflow component or ReactFlow component within your Streamlit app. So let's see an example. So this is it. So let's see how to build it, right? So in case you don't have it, you can simply install it in your terminal with this option here. Let's start. I'll close it. To build it, just go back and install pip install Streamlit, and then you can just go with Streamlitflow component, right? So that is the name of the app, and then we also want to add some features to our application. So I'll install Panda. So these are the libraries we are installing on our system, right? I already have them installed, and then we'll see how to build our simple application here. So I'll come back here. Then inside my location, I'm going to build. Let's build something simple. So I'm going to create a file called app. I'll call it st.app.py, and I'm going to open in VS Code my st.app.py, which is here, right? So this is the previous one, and let's import the previous things we need. So I'm going to import Streamlit as st, and then I'm going to import Streamlitflow, and then let's go from Streamlitflow, import Streamlitflow, and then from Streamlitflow.elements import. There are two main things in case you are building any flowchart, right, diagram. The two most important things you need to know is that you need a node and then an edge, right? And then a node is just an object, and then an edge is a link between the nodes, right? So a node is an entity, and then the relation between the entity is the edge. So let's see how to do that. To do that, I'll just go back here and I will go with my Streamlitflow edge and then Streamlitflow node. Then from Streamlitflow.layout, I want to import my tree layout, and then from Streamlitflow.state, I want to import my Streamlitflow state, right? So these are the two main things. So you need the edge and then you need the state. So let's build our simple app. I'll call it as home page, and this is going to be our simple home page. So st.subheader, which is going to be home page, right? Something like that. And then this, I'll just use the simple approach of the pg, and then st.navigation. You want to create some simple navigation. So this navigation goes with the pages that you want to put there. So I'll pass in my home page, and then which is a dictionary of my home, right? And let's add one more, about, which is a about page, right? So we have to create these pages. So to do that, I'll just go with my home, which is st.page, which takes in the home page, and then the title. So let's give the title of home. You can add an icon if you want, and let's do the same for the about page. Right, so to run it, then just give it my pg.run. Hopefully it works. So this is our simple application. Let's run our app. So I'll go on Streamlit, run st.app.py, and this is going to run our application. So it's opening here, and then let's close from here, and then let's open it inside Chrome. So I'm going to open it inside Chrome. This is the old one. I'll clear off this and I'll open it inside Chrome. We have an error, and the reason we have an error is because of the navigation, right? Page home name. So I just go back to my up here and I'll just visit. So we have the page, st page, the home, the title, and then same thing for here. And then inside here is a dictionary that has the home page, about, and the PG run. Yeah, and the reason is a multiple page specified, so I have to ensure that I don't have the same thing. That is a nice thing about Streamlit. I have to call my about page. Let's create one. We cannot have multiple pages the same name. That's why I got that error. Let's give it about. Always read the errors. Always you must always read the error. Now perfect. Let's build a simple workflow with it to allow us to be able to use Streamlitflow, Edgeflow, right? So as I said, you need two main things. You need a node and an edge. So let's create some nodes. So I'll come back to my application and then I'll call this my nodes. And this node goes with my Streamlit node, Streamlitflow node, and it goes like this. So we have my nodes and I have my edges, right? And then I need a state. So inside the state, I'll pass in my Streamlitflow state, and inside this state I'll pass in my nodes and then the edges, right? And then the final one is my Streamlitflow, which takes in a string. So I can just give it my, say, tree layout and all the various things, and it takes in the state as the next parameter, and then it takes in a layout, which I'll add later. So the layout in our case is my tree layout. Perfect. And then you have to specify the brand. So these are the most important things. So let's add the nodes. So we'll be using the Streamlitflow node to create some node. So I have some nodes already here that I want to use. So let's copy it and then let me show you how it works. So this is how it is. So all you need is you need a Streamlit node. It takes in the ID, the position that you want the node to be, and the data you want to display, right? So this is the data you want to play, and the type of node, and then the source position, right? And you do the same thing. So this is the full code, and this is a simplified one. Then you also need to specify the edges. So the edge, as I said, is the connection. The edge is a connection between this node. So we have node 1, node 2. I need a connection between node 1 and node 2, so I have to specify the nodes and their connection. And we do that with this option here. So Streamlitflow edge, so 1 to 2, so ID node 1 to node 2, right? That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying animated true. So animated true means that it's going to be animated, and that is all. And then finally, we will now specify the direction for our layout, which is going to be direction. Let's say this is right, and then I'll pass in fit view, right, to true. So I save it and I come down here. If I refresh, you can see that automatically I have it here, right? So I have my nodes here, and I can change the name in case I want to change the name. So I can change the name from here to, let's say, first node. If I save it and I always rerun, you see, let's save this change. I rerun it. So we have it here, right? So we have on our node my first node here, right? And then I can join from one to another, right? Most of the time sometimes can be very difficult when joining from one place to another. And you see this line, in case I don't want to animate it, I can just turn off the animation. So if I set this animation between node 1 and 2 to false, and I rerun, you see that this animation is gone, right? There is no animation, right? Very cool. So there are so many things you can do with it. But if I come back to the Streamlitflow here, I can specify the height. I can specify to show controls, right? So that I'll be able to show the control that allows me to be able to control it. So if I come down here, let's put it down and add all of these features. So show control, go to true, and then if I say that I always run, it will give us a lot of features, right? So there are a lot of things we can do. I can also specify that I want to, let's pass them all here, display them, show control, fit through. Yep, I can specify that I want to animate new edges. I want to enable pane menu. I want to enable edge menu and node menu. Once I do this, if I save it and I refresh, I can now click on this and you see that I can edit. So I can edit this node, give it a new name, 2, and then I can scroll down and then I can specify that I want it to be draggable. I want to specify the position. The same thing you are doing here, the same thing you do here, right? Now I save it and now I see that it has changed to second node. And because I added some other options, I can join. So I can pick this one and join it to here, right? It allows you to be able to join them up and down. Okay, let's see how to build something useful in the next tutorial. So I'm just going to go back here to this same place and I'm going to add another option. So this is the basic usage, right? So let's create another page that allows us to be able to upload. So I'll copy this here and then I will create a simple page and I'll call it as flow page. So upload flow page, right? Something like that. It's going to be my flow page. This is just so that we can upload a file and then visualize it. Perfect, right? So if I always run, we need to add it to our list here. I come down here, let's create another one, flow, and this will be my upload flow page. Then I'll call it as flow. And then let's add it here. I save it. I have my flow page here, which is empty, and I'm going to add the various things. So I want to have a simple upload option in which you can easily upload something, right? In case the user comes to the app, the user can easily upload something there. Upload file is going to be st.sidebar file uploader. Then I'll pass in my so choose a JSON or CSV, right? And I'll just use JSON or CSV. I'll specify the type, which in our case is going to be CSV or JSON. So these are the two main stuff there. If I save it, I have my sidebar here, and I can upload something. So how do I upload? You say if uploaded is not none, as we always do. Then I'll just check if the uploaded type type is equal to test.csv. Then we want to open it with pandas, right? So df is going to pd.read_csv, and our file, uploaded file, we want to open with c.expand. We want to also show the data, which is going to be my view data. I just want to view the data, and then so st.dataframe Streamlit is so cool df, right? So I need to import pandas. That's why I'm getting this error. So let's import pandas and import JSON. Import pandas, speedy, and import JSON, right? So these are the two stuff. So if I have a file and I upload it, we should be able to see the data. But that is not the most important thing. We need to convert the data that you are getting. So let me upload the data and show you. So I have some data here. So this is my data. If I open it and I come down here, we have data that is like the normal network X type of data, which is having a source and a target, because for our system to work, we need a source and a target, right? So that is how it's supposed to be. So we have to translate this source and target into nodes and then edges, right? So God behold all of them. So how do you do that? So this, I'm just going to go down here and I want to show them, right? So I'll call it as my nodes and then my edges just as above, and then I need a function. I'm going to call it as Dataframe to Streamlitflow. That's the name of my function, and I'll pass in my function here. This function I've not created yet. Then after I've created a function, I'll create another function to visualize the flow. I'll pass in my nodes and then the edges, right? So let's create this function. So we are going to use the same idea we did here, the same thing we did here, right, to create our structure. So to save us time, I will just create a simple function to help us with that. I'll come to the top of my app. I'm going to call this, okay, create a function called def to Streamlitflow. That's the name of the function that takes in the data frame, and then we will need the nodes as a list. Then we need the edges as a list because we want to append, and then we need our node IDs, right, as a set. We want to get all the unique ones. Then we will look through our data. So for index and then row in my df.iter rows, then we need to specify the source ID, which is going to be my row. There are several ways you can do that, and I'll call that source because we are taking this source side. And then we do the same thing. So we have my source ID, I have my target ID, and we are taking this target column. And once I've taken that, now I have my system. Then I need to say that if the source ID is not in my nodes ID, right, my node IDs, we want to skip it. So if the source ID not in this my nodes ID, then I want to append it. So nodes.append to my stuff. And remember that we use this structure here to create our node, right? So this is exactly the same structure we use to create our node. So we will just pass in the Streamlit node, and then to take in the ID as my source ID, and then we will just give it a position of, let's say, 0, 0, right? So this is the simplest aspect. And then we need to pass in the data, right? So just like we had here, we had data and content and stuff. The same thing we had here, we will do the same. So I'll copy this. So we have my Streamlit node, the ID, the source, the position, and I need to pass in the data. So the data will be the content, and then I'll pass in my source ID. Right, and let's specify the node type to be default. That is it, right? So this is a simple function I've created. So we are looping through them, packing the source or the source as nodes, and then we do the same for the next one, the target ID, right? Because we need to get the first node, source, target, source, target, source, target, and that we can do that with this option here. So I'll come down here and I'll do the same. So we have another one here. So if the target is not in the node ID, we append that target, and then later we add the edges here. And you can see that the way we are creating this is exactly the same. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So we just are using f string. So source, target ID, source, target ID. Perfect. And then let's return. Now I return my nodes and then my edges list. So this is a simple function you have created to help us visualize it. And in case I want to visualize, it is going to be very simple. I'll go down here. We use this to visualize. This was our function that we used to visualize, and we also had some state, right? So I'll just copy this, sorry, and then I'll create another function called def.visualize-flow, and this one takes in the nodes and then the edges, and I pass in the same thing. So we pass in the nodes and the edge, and then the Streamlitflow, exactly the same thing that we had above, right? So that is exactly what you are doing here. So we are not changing anything, we are just passing in the same stuff here. It's a better format, and then that is all, right? And then if I go back here, hopefully if I refresh, automatically you can see that we have our structure here, right? It automatically was able to pick our structure here. If I zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out, I can see if I can upload a different data set. So let's try this one. This is going to be big, and the data is very huge. Not that huge, yeah. And then you can see that we have another structure here, and I can click on this to edit, because we already specified here that those things should be allowed. Show controls, allow new edges, animate new edges, and the rest, right? So that is how to build a simple application in Streamlit using Streamlitflow components. In case you like this, you can star this, go to the home page and then give it a star, right? So that it goes up. Very useful package. Or in case you want more, you can just go straight to ReactFlow and then you can do many things. So thank you for watching this tutorial. In case you have any questions or contribution, you can put inside the comment section below. And see you another time, and let me see what you can do with the JSON option for our application here, right? So we only have one option for CSV, but you can also try the same approach for JSON. Thank you for watching. See you.